Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to take you through the PressureSmart collection from Beautyrest, which is a collection only available at Mattress Firm. Now, this line does have some features or components in common with the Harmony and Harmony Lux collections from Beautyrest, which we've covered in separate videos. So I'd recommend you watch those as well. But today we're going to give you kind of a general overview of what this PressureSmart collection is about, as well as some of the unique features that you'll only find in this PressureSmart collection. Stick around. So in total, you have 6 models in this PressureSmart collection, and they're divided into 2 levels, the top 3 being a level that they call Lux. But let's start with the features that all of these PressureSmart mattresses have in common. For one thing, they're all pocketed coil mattresses, and they're all going to have foam perimeter for edge support. It's a real sturdy 50 ILD, like a strong, very firm foam going around the perimeter to give it a nice strong edge. You are going to have some differences in the coil units between the models in these collections in 2 ways. Number one is that the first level of this collection has a 900 coil count in a queen size, whereas the Lux level has a 1,000 coil count. The other difference that you're going to find in these coil units is that you're going to have a little bit of variability in how firm those coils are between the models depending on what feel they were going for. So the models that they were going for in general, the ones they were going for a little firmer feel, have a even firmer coil than the ones that they were going for a plusher feel. So there are those 2 different types of coil units. We'll talk a little bit, we'll take you through the different models and tell you which coils are in each of them. But that's basically the support structure of these PressureSmart mattresses. Now, apart from the coil units, the biggest thing that all these mattresses have in common in this collection is right up at the top of the mattress, which is the inclusion of 3/4 of an inch of memory foam right in the quilt layer. Now, right off the bat, I should clarify something, which is this up at the top you see here, anytime you see a mattress stitched like this where there's undulations at the top, that's a quilt layer, okay? Now, normally a mattress that is quilted, if it has memory foam, that memory foam lives underneath the quilt layer. So it's down an inch, 2 inches into the mattress, right? In this case, the memory foam actually lives in the quilt layer, and that's pretty unique, especially at this price point. And specifically, it's right, there's like a little bit of fiber, and then it's the memory foam. So it's right up at the top. Now, what's the benefit of that? Well, memory foam is a pressure relieving material. So the benefit is that it adds pressure relief. Now, Mattress Firm has actually gone to great lengths to kind of figure out and prove how much pressure relieving benefit this adds. And they've actually done scientific studies that show that these mattresses that have memory foam in the quilt, when compared against mattresses that have the otherwise exact same build, have 21% more pressure relieving capability. So that's a demonstrable benefit. Again, this is how they differ from the other Beautyrest mattresses that you might find in Beautyrest national line that are at this same price point. So that's kind of, and that, as I mentioned before, is actually what gives this collection its name. The PressureSmart, coming from the fact that this characteristic that they have in common adds pressure relieving capability. And beyond that, I would just add that all these mattresses have a really soft, kind of stretch knit cover material that's just very, very soft to the touch, and they all share a very similar aesthetic with this kind of light gray pattern on the top, and then this darker gray side panel. All right, so now let's get into the specific models in this PressureSmart collection, and we'll start with that first level, which has 3 models: a firm, a plush, and a plush pillow top. So in terms of the feels of these 3 models, there's a pretty big spread here in terms of the types of feels you're going to have available to you, just even in this first 3. You're going to have what Beautyrest calls the firm. We would actually classify as a firm on our softness spectrum as well. However, what they call a plush, we would actually call maybe a medium on our softness spectrum, and this plush pillow top we'd classify as a soft. But again, that's a pretty big spread for just these 3 models. As I mentioned before, this range in feels is actually achieved not only through the different foams used on top and the different amounts of foam used on top of the mattress, but also differences in the coil unit. Specifically, this firm model uses an extra firm coil unit in addition to firmer foams on top in order to create that firm feel. These other 2 at this first level use just a firm coil unit. So that's one of the key differences. The other key differences between these mattresses are just in the use of memory foam beyond that quilt layer that we already talked about. So specifically, these first 2 mattresses in this line the Firm and the Plush each have a 3/8 inch layer of memory foam going through the center third of the mattress. So really just kind of adding a little bit of extra material underneath the heaviest part of your body. It adds a little pressure relief for your hips, but it also just helps in terms of providing more support, more durability in the part that's going to be taking the biggest brunt of your weight over time. Then when you move up to the Plush pillow top model, you actually, that 3/8 inch of memory foam is actually a full sheet of memory foam, covers the whole mattress, and that's another thing that you get as you step up to that Plush pillow top. In addition, you also obviously get a lot more comfort materials in general. As I mentioned, that's a soft feel, and it's also an almost 15-inch thick mattress, whereas here you're talking about an 11.5 inch, and here you're talking about a 12.25 inch in the Firm and the Plush models, respectively. In terms of the other preference-based characteristics here, obviously all these are going to have a little bit of bounce coming from that inner spring unit. And in terms of the memory feel, they all do have some memory foam in them. However, I would describe this as a good fit for people who are looking for some of the benefits of memory foam, but who don't want a whole lot of that memory feel. There's not a whole lot of that like ooey gooey kind of melting into the bed sensation on any of these mattresses. All right, so now we've moved up to the Lux portion of the PressureSmart collection. And in terms of the features you get when you step up to this level, one thing, as we mentioned earlier, these are gonna have more coils. So specifically, these ones feature a 1,000 coil count versus a 900 coil count in the first level of the PressureSmart collection. The second thing that these all have in common is a cooling feature. Specifically, the fiber that I mentioned, which is right below the cover, kind of in between the cover and that memory foam, is some fiber. In this case, it's dipped in phase change material. Now, phase change material, if you've watched some of our other videos, you may know it's essentially microscopic wax beads that contain a solid wax that when heat from your body reaches it, it changes phases. It changes from a solid to a liquid. Now, that creates a cooling sensation when that happens. Now, one thing we should point out here is that because that phase change material is in the fiber below the cover, you're not going to quite feel like a coolness to the touch right on the fabric per se, but rather you're going to get the benefit of that material as the heat reaches it. So, it just takes a little bit longer as the heat from your body travels through the cover. It then reaches the phase change material. You still benefit from that feature. It's just a little different than the coolness to the touch that you might find in some other mattresses. So that is the second feature they all have in common. The third feature is they just have a little bit more memory foam. Specifically, they have a full sheet of a 1/2 inch of memory foam that's again right below the quilt layer of the mattress. So offers some additional pressure relieving characteristics. And then lastly, as you step up to this Lux level, you get a couple other things just related to the cover. Number one is you have just a little bit of a thicker cover material, so it's just a little bit higher end cover material. And then secondly, they've added some handles here to the mattress. So 4 handles on the mattress, so makes it a little easier to maneuver. All right, so now let's get into the feels of these PressureSmart Lux mattresses. And again, there's 3 models here. You have the Extra Firm, the Plush, and the Pillow Top. And these, by the way, are not gonna necessarily use the same coils, as a reminder. So specifically, the Extra Firm and the Pillow Top use the Extra Firm coil units, whereas the Plush uses the Firm coil unit. And all of these are gonna have a pretty firm feel. We would say that the Extra Firm is certainly, it's very firm. We call it extra firm or very firm on our softness spectrum. So that's the firmest classification we have. But the Plush, we'd also classify as pretty firm. I'd call it actually a firm on our softness spectrum. And the Pillow Top, we'd classify as a medium. These are gonna have a little bit thicker profiles than what you saw in the first level of the collection. It gets up to 15 inches in this Pillow Top. And again, I would say there's not so much memory foam that you're gonna get that sort of sinking, like melting into the bed sensation or a whole lot of that, but you're just gonna get kind of some of the benefits of memory foam without that feel per se. So there you have it. We hope you found this to be a helpful introduction, at least, to the PressureSmart collection from Beautyrest. For more helpful information about how to choose the right mattress for you, go to GoodBed.com. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we hope you sleep well.